Hello everybody, welcome back to Jane's Medieval Kitchen. This afternoon we're going to be making a pie, an eel pie. Now for those of you who saw me cook the eel on the last demonstration, I'm going to use some of that eel today to put into the pie, taking it off the bone. But we've also got some raw eel and some that is still on the bone as well. So I'll come to talk to you about that in just a minute. But first of all, we're just going to make some pastry here. So I just need a little bit of salt in with my flour, and I'm just going to mix up some pastry. So it's just butter in there first. My butter has melted a little bit, so a bit runny, but I'm sure we can make that work. Just mix that into breadcrumbs first. If you're working at home, I take the butter out just before you're going to use it. It's a bit warm today here, so it's all melted a bit. Okay, that's up to do. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so we're just going to add some water to our pastry mixture here. Mix that. Okay, I'm going to add some more flour to that because that's a little bit wet there. That's better. So you want nice firm dough for your pastry. We're going to line this small pot here. We're only going to make a small one today because we want it to go in our oven. Now the oven's been on for about an hour. We put a fire in there about an hour ago or so ago, so that's getting up to temperature now. Rolling pin. Okay, we're going to use about 2/3 of our mixture, our pastry mixture, because we want enough to do a lid as well. Okay, just a little bit more flour on there because it's a little bit sticky still. I'm just going to roll this out nice and thin. Now I've used butter today, but you can use lard, whatever you like to make. You can buy ready-made pastry if you find it easier. So this will just be made with plain flour and butter, and as I say, a little bit of salt. A little bit wet still. Now what I'm going to do is just a little bit of butter around the inside of our pie dish because we don't want our pie to stick once we've want it to come out all in one piece, so we can serve it nicely on a plate. So just put a little bit of butter around the edge of there, and then we're just going to put our pastry into our pot there. Oops, oh, right, that's falling apart. Let's roll that out again. So the butter was a bit too warm, so it's a bit too soft today. So just a bit bigger than the pot that it's going into, so it can come up the sides nicely. That's better. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Right up the sides. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that there for a minute. Right, I'm just going to take another bowl. We're going to mix our other ingredients now. Now, the other ingredients we need for our eel pie, we've got some raisins. Now, I've put in about 4 ounces of raisins in there. Now, when we look at the original recipes, none of the recipes have quantities. So it would be purely how test and taste, how you like it. But I've written down a sort of quantity. So the recipe will be on the website later on with the quantities that I'm using today. So we've got that. Now the other thing we need is an onion. we're just going to finely chop this onion and mix it in with our raisins. I'm just going to slice this onion up and mix it in with our raisins there. Now, in this recipe, it doesn't actually state in the original recipe whether the eels should be cooked, as I said, or raw or taken off the bone. So we're just going to, I'm going to divide the pie into 3, and I'm going to try something different in each one. So this is a little bit of an experiment for me today. We'll see how it comes out. We'll post on later on some pictures of all the different sections. Now, to be honest, eating a pie with bones in probably doesn't really appeal. But I'll say we don't know for sure because the details aren't on the original recipe. So just going to break those onions up there. Now, what we're going to add to this mixture is some salt, some pepper, and some ginger. Now, ginger seems to be quite often put with eel, so we just want a teaspoon of ginger. So that's 2 of these little of ginger, half a teaspoon of salt. So my little spoon here, my little measuring spoon is approximately half a teaspoon, and a whole teaspoon of pepper. So we get nice bit of heat in with that pie as well there with the pepper. So there we go. Let's just move those out of the way. Put those back in our box there. So I'm just going to mix all those spices in there together. So there you go. So you just got a mixture there of the raisins, the onions, and the spices. So that's it. One more thing we're going to add to this is a little bit of finely chopped parsley. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that over the top as well. So that's quite a nice mixture there. Now, what I'm going to do with this pie now, I've got some eel here. As I say, for those who saw our last recipe, this is the eel that we cooked. I've taken it all off the bone, so I'm going to put that in one little section here. Let's put that one over in that corner there. Then I've got a few bits here that are still on their bone and they've still got their skin on them, so I'm going to put those next to it there. Now that's raw. And then I've got a few bits here that I've taken off the bone. I've just got one more piece here, which I'm going to just take off the bone and take the skin off. So it's quite a fiddly process. So I do wonder whether they would have taken the time to do this, or just put it all in together and then just taking it off the bone as they eat it. So there we go. So there we go. That's just some raw there that's off the bone as well. So now over the top of this, we're going to put our mixture of onions and raisins. I'll just put that all over the top. So all those flavours will sink through into all that nice eel and hopefully give us a nice flavour. Pat that down. Let's just do that. Rid of that. Now the only thing we've got left to do now is to make the lid for our pie. So we're going to take the rest of our pastry and roll it out. So a bit of flour there. So we're just going to roll this pastry out, not too thin. Just big enough to sit over the top that we can seal around the edges. Now one more thing to do, I just need a spoon. I'm just going to dot some little bits of butter on the top here. on the 3 different areas of eel we've got. So that butter will all melt in through the flavours, take the flavours down to the eels that's in the bottom of the pie. There out of the way. I'm just going to pop this on top. And with a little bit of water, just seal around the edges there. So the pastry, the butter was a little bit too soft, so it's breaking up a little bit. But I think we'll still have a tasty pie at the end of it. So just put that in there. Okay, so there we have our pie. They're all ready to go in the oven. Now, as I say, the oven's been alight for about an hour. So what we're going to do, we're not going to rake the coals out of the oven today because we want to keep that heat in there for as long as possible so the pie cooks right the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push all the coals round to the outside of the oven, away from the pie, so they're not touching the pie because we don't want it to burn. So we're just going to push them right round the outside of the oven. So there we go. So that's just a nice even right the way round, and we're just going to pop the pie into the oven. Pop our door on and the lid on top. Now that's going to take, I would think, around about half an hour to 45 minutes to cook. So we'll post a picture later of what it looks like, and so you can see all the different parts of the pie, what each bit looks like. So thank you for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.